I mean, they've been trying to cancel me for about 15 years, and they've always failed. And often the people trying to cancel me have been other comedians writing for the posh papers, doing that thing they always say, he's punching down. Well, comedy should punch up. We only punch up. We punch up. Their idea of punching up, they have a go at Boris Johnson. How the fuck is that punching up? You know, the cunt is learning disabled. He's like this fucking waterlogged Gary Busey, fucking albino Eggman thing. He can't string a sentence together. Have you heard him talk? He's like, he's a fucking moron. I punch up. I have a go at people like, I don't know, Stephen Hawking, right? Yes, the greatest brain that's ever lived. He can take it, and he wouldn't even have minded when he was alive because he's part robot, isn't he? I think he's basically a talking chair, so you can say what you want. And he was on Epstein's island, apparently, so fuck him. I don't. What was he doing there? Why do I want to go? Why? Why? You're not just there doing fuck. I would go. What? I know pedos who'd kill for a ticket to that, and he's just taking up a space. It's probably DEI or something, and they go, we need one. Like, I'll go, what are you doing here, Steve? He go, I'm thinking weird shit. Fuck off. That is probably a hate crime. That is. It's a bit like Eddie Redmayne got in trouble when he played Stephen Hawking in the biopic, The Life Story of Stephen Hawking, right? Won an Oscar for it, and that's when the backlash started. People going, no, it should be played by a real disabled creature, all this, right? And they're going, the actor should have the same disability as the person they're portraying. But it was the life story of Stephen Hawking, right? So for the first part of the film, the cunt could walk, right? So I put it to you, what is easier? Getting an actor who can walk, pretend he can't for the last bit of the film, or get an actor who can't walk, pretend he can for the first bit? How would that even fucking work? Puppetry, think. You can't always find an actor with the same disability as the person they're portraying. They're fucking actors. What if they did a biopic of Helen Keller, the deaf, dumb and blind girl? Well, what's the chances of finding a deaf, dumb and blind actress who can play that role? And if you did, you go run into the director and go, we found a deaf, dumb and blind girl. What did she say? She didn't even answer the fucking phone. Oh, don't get me started. Oh. I did see one thing recently on YouTube, actually. Do you know the little fella from Game of Thrones? The actor, Peter Dinklage. Do you know Peter Dinklage? Yeah. He was at a junket, and it was for a new thing he was doing, right? And they were filming it. That's why it got leaked onto YouTube. And I don't know what brought it up, but he suddenly started going off on one. Oh, God. He was going, it's fucking disgusting. They're still doing productions of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. For Christ's sake, it's fucking demeaning. It's 2023. He wasn't happy. He was grumpy, wasn't he? He's got a point now, hasn't he? Obviously he's got a point. But the thing is, it's all right for him because he's a multi-millionaire Hollywood actor, and he's a great actor as well. He does Shakespeare and everything. A lot of dwarves in entertainment aren't that great. No, some of them are fucking... They're props, right? No, let's be... They're lucky to be fired from a fucking cannon, right? And so... dancing around Snow White for 3 weeks of the year, that is their like holy grail, and he's going to fuck it for them. If he takes that, what can they do? And he's not saying you should do Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with normal... I've just, I said earlier, I've never had a joke stopped by the Golden Globes, and that is absolutely true, but I've just remembered a joke that I stopped myself, because I bottled it a bit, and I think I was being overcautious. I want to share it with you, right? So, I got the chance to introduce Jason Momoa. Do you know who Jason Momoa is? Yeah, right? So I thought the meta joke would be to show my hypocrisy and my cowardice. Like, I'm okay to slag off actors, who's scared of actors, but when it comes to a big dude, right, I'm not so brave. So I was going to go, I've got nothing bad to say about our next presenter, because he's got a cock like a baby's arm, right? And I told my mate I was going to do that, and my mate went, do you think people think that's racist? I went, why is it racist? He went, well, because he's a person of colour. And I went, no, but it's nothing to do with that. It's to do with the fact that he's so big that he'd probably have a cock like a baby's arm, right? So I didn't do it. And I had a great follow-up as well. I'll tell you the whole thing. This is the whole thing. This is what I was going to do, right? Right. So I'll go out and go, I've got nothing bad to say about our next presenter because he's got a cock like a baby's arm. Unlike Peter Dinklage, who's got an arm like a baby's cock. It's great to hear. Oh, I miss the local pedo. Don't you? There was always one, wasn't there? Outside the school, you'd be with your mum and she'd go, look, there's a paedophile. Because he had the uniform of the pedo. You know what I mean? You could spot old bloke, bald on top, long down the side, like that. And I'll go, that's a dirty pedo. Say hello, 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 like that. Dirty, look, that's what a fucking pedo looks like. Dirty fucking paedophile, right? That's what they look. If he touches you, we'll burn his house down. It was a good system, you know what I mean? But then Michael Jackson comes along and he breaks the mould, doesn't he? Because he's not an ugly bloke outside the school. I'm not saying Michael Jackson definitely was a paedophile. No one knows, only Michael and all those people he paid off. All I'm saying is that kids loved Michael. Kids loved Michael just to look at him. Like a little Disney cartoon, wasn't he? And then his voice, hello, you know, that... Oh, Michael Jackson go up to any kid he wanted. Probably not like that, didn't he? Probably like that. That's another thing. Kids would go, there's Michael Jackson, but he's going away from us. He wasn't. He was going towards them. But people don't care, because he's so good. Right? He's so good. He's so popular as well. I think if he'd have lived to stand trial, he'd have beaten the rap, because everyone loves him. And he'd be so vulnerable in court as well, wouldn't he? He'd be there like that. And the judge would go, Michael, did you fiddle all those kids? And he'd go, hee hee. Judge would go, case it, get out of here, you scam. Go on. Of the Golden Globes, right? And, thank you. I last hosted the Golden Globes in 2020. It was the 5th time over a 10-year period, and I liked them more and more, and the last one was my favourite, because the world changed in that 10 years. You know, like the first time I hosted them in like 2010, the press of America, they hated me. Right? Who is this annoying Brit insulting the most important people on the planet? By the last time I hosted, they were like, yeah, go on, fuck them. Fuck them, right? Because ordinary people had got sick and tired of being lectured by these multi-millionaire, nothing wrong with that, these liberal elite entertainers telling them how to vote and how to recycle, when everyone knew they were getting free jet rides to Pedo Island. So it really hit the zeitgeist. But it was always the same deal. Whenever they said, do you want to host? I said, yeah, I'll host. I said, but I'm going to write all my own jokes, which is unheard of, apparently. I said, I'm going to write all my own jokes, and I'm not going to rehearse, so you can't hear the jokes beforehand, you can't cancel any. And they let me do that. I did have to show a lawyer the jokes about an hour before to make sure I hadn't broken any laws, and I never had, because I know the law. Sometimes the lawyer would go, are you sure you want to say that? Right? And I go, is it legal? They go, yep, technically. I go, let's do it. Right? I've never had a joke stopped by the Golden Globes. That says something about them, to be fair, right? So I always go, oh God, no. I wouldn't even say if that had happened, because I don't like gossip, to be honest, right? There was one guy I thought took it the wrong way, right? It wasn't a bad... No, the cameras went to him, and I'm not in control of the cameras, so I think he was caught in the headlights. It was Elton John, right? But it wasn't a bad joke. I was introducing Madonna, okay? And I later found out that him and Madonna were in this feud, and he hated being mentioned in the same sentence as her. But I didn't know at the time. I was confused, right? And it wasn't part of the monologue, but I'm there for like 3 hours, right? And now and again, the stage manager put her head around the door and go, do you want to introduce so-and-so? And I go, yeah, fine. And I come out and I either do it straight or I ad-lib. And this was little ad-lib because I saw Elton in the front row, right? So this was the joke. I came out and I said, our next presenter is the Queen of Pop. Not you, Elton. Sit down, right? And he sort of went to him, he sort of went, and I was like, oh, fuck, he hated that. And I was thinking, why is he, I said, oh, God, do you think I'm homophobic? Oh, I'm not homophobic. That's always in my head. Then I thought, he must have heard worse, right? In the 1980s, right, when Elton John was in the closet. He wasn't out. He was married to a woman, right? He was also chairman of Watford Football Club. And he and his then wife would go along and watch Watford play, and the entire crowd would sing, "Don't bend down when Elton's around, or you might get a willy up your arse." Which puts my little quip into perspective. I don't know how football fans know how to start at the right time in the same key. Do they hand out sheet music before we're doing Willy up the arse in C? Jeff's doing a solo. It's like, and what they usually do, they get a traditional tune so everyone knows it, and they change the lyrics. Some genius changes the lyrics, right, to be as offensive about someone or something or somewhere or whatever, right? So the tune they used to use, I remember it, it was that old Cockney knees up song. My old man said, follow the van and don't dilly-dally on the way. Do you know that one? Remember the term dilly-dally? They use it very creatively in their version, right? So this was their lyric. It was the 80s. It's not politically correct, I apologise, but they're football hooligans. What are you going to do, right? So let's analyse their genius lyrics, right? This is what they used to sing. Don't bend down when Elton's around, or you might get a willy up your arse. I mean, you might. Not necessarily his, but, you know, like mathematicians amongst you would have to go, yeah, there's a slight... Like, if 1,000 people bent down when Elton was around, one of them might randomly, someone might come off a bicycle and go, sorry, like that, and they go, oh, fuck, and the scientists will go, one. Do you know what I mean? There's a slight... Also, when Elton's around, that's ambiguous. That could fit, like, you could have two gentlemen having anal sex in a hotel room, right? And then the next day they find out that Elton John was staying in the next room. They go, oh, I got a willy up the arse when Elton was around, you know? I'll give him that. Anyway. Don't bend down when Elton's around, or you might get a willy up your arse. He has the nerve. And it goes, he dallies and dillies. They've reversed it. Why? He dallies and dillies. He plays with people's willies. Okay, I don't know what play with means in this context. It could be like, wow. It could be anything, couldn't it? Wow. I thought you were going to suck it. No. He dallies and dillies, he plays with people's willies, he's up every arse in town. I'd stop him there, I'd go, no, you know, that is provably false. He's not up every arse in town, is he? We can prove that. Right, take a small town, take Watford, 120,000 people. He is not up 120,000 arses, is it? I mean, half of them are women, so 60,000 tops, right? And I don't think he's been up 60,000. And if he has, good luck to him, but that's not my point. This is my point, right? What did his then wife think of that? Because he's in the closet, right? You know, and she's just married Elton John the Pop. She couldn't be, she's in love. She's so proud of him. Elton John, and he's chairman of Watford. She goes like, I'm married Elton John the Pop Star. I'm married to Elton John the Pop Star. And then the entire crowd sing, don't bend down when Elton's around, or you might get a willy up your arse. She must have gone, why are they singing that, Elton? And he got round to see that, but I am going to spend my entire fortune from now on private jets to make sure it definitely fucking happens. We're going to be the first generation that future generations are jealous of, right? Because we had it all, and we're using it all up. We're using up all the fresh water. We're using up all the fossil fuel, right? Usually you look back in history and you feel sorry for it. You go, oh, how did they live like that? Oh, how did they get around? No indoor toilets. I've got 9 toilets in my house. And sometimes I just run around flushing them for a laugh, like that. Just so that in 40 years' time, Greta Thunberg has to shit out of a window. I've got 28 radiators. I always have them on full. Then I put the aircon on full, and it sort of settles at about... I should do political stuff now I'm woke, but I don't like it when a comedian just spouts his own political views and it relies on the audience agreeing with him to get a round of applause. I think that loses something comedically. I want everyone to like my jokes. Whatever your political persuasion, a joke shouldn't have a political wing. You know, I'm political in my private life, like everyone. You know, like I'm sometimes incensed by the inequalities in our society. We're in the 7th richest economy in the world, right? And there's homelessness. There's 250,000 homeless people in Britain. Now, I wish there were no homeless people, because they're fucking horrible. Aren't they? You know, oh. Oh yeah, right next to the fucking cash point, you cheeky cunt. It is a serious problem, and I hope none of you ever find yourself homeless. But if you do, my advice is and they go, why are they so distended? And I go, oh, like you're Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? Sorry, are we talking or raping here? Can we... So he's like, you fucking atheist. He's probably bored, and he fucking atheist every fucking day, right? And his little gargoyle comes up and he goes, Satan. And he goes, what? And I go, yeah, what? And he goes, there's a fundamentalist Christian up here. Fuck this. He'd be on him like a ton of bricks, wouldn't he? So I got that tweet. I loved it. And all I did was retweet, right? And just watch the fun. People piling on, going, loser, and all this stuff. And he's fighting back really witlessly, saying things like, go fuck your sister, you English faggot. That makes no sense at all. And I forgot about it, went off, did something, came back. A few hours later, I'm on Twitter again. I think, oh, what's happening there, right? And it's still all going off, right? It's really funny. I'm laughing at all the replies, like people saying things to him, right? I'm scrolling down. There's one tweet just directly to me from this woman. She says, what, you find rape funny? No. What? No. What? Ricky Gervais find rape funny? No. Listen, what? Ricky Gervais find rape funny? No. Listen, everyone. Listen, right? No. Right? So I said to her, no, I didn't tweet that. She went, no, you retweeted it. I went, well, yeah, just to show you he's an idiot. I just show her, well, yeah, but you must find it funny. You must find it amusing. It's not, no, it's not a frivolous thing to be laughing. I said, well, no, I just don't know. So I said, well, it's up to him, isn't it? They go, well, not really. So I said, well, it is up to him. He can do it. So now I'm arguing with quite a nice, sane person, presumably, who thinks this sort of thing's mental. But I'm fighting for his right to fantasize about me being raped by the devil. Right? Because I'm so conscious of freedom of speech. What a topsy-turvy world, right? Although her opening gambit annoyed me a little bit as well, because she did that thing that people do. She said, she didn't say, what, you find jokes about rape funny. She said, what, you find rape funny? And the answer to that is no, of course not. No one finds rape funny. Not even rapists find rape funny. Do you know what I mean? There's never been anyone giving evidence going, well, it was dark and he was wearing a ski mask and he was giggling. That's never... So I sent back, do you mean jokes about rape? She said, yes. I went, depends on the joke. Fucking does. No, it does. I was going, no, it does. It does. Depends on the joke. I said, of course it does. It's about context. It's about the content, right? I said, what do you mean by a rape joke? And she said, even a joke with the word rape in it is unacceptable. I said, that's ridiculous. It depends what the joke is. I said, and I tweeted that clip of me in the office going, I think there's been a rape up there. Right? And everyone gets that because of the context. And the target is a middle-aged man who's so narcissistic, he'll say the most horrendous thing to get attention to win a silly game. So you have to understand the joke and where it's going and where it comes from. And I said, some jokes don't punch up or down. They don't punch anywhere. They can just be a little pun, a silly play on words that don't really mean anything, right? And the example I gave was a joke that went around when I was a kid. Even adults told it, right? I tell you, it was a woman goes running into a police station. She says, help, help, I've been raped. And the policeman says, do you mean raped? She says, no, there was a bunch of them. Right? That is a rape joke, right? So, and I even said to her, I said, no, I agree in most, real rape jokes. Rape jokes where they're fucking horrible and the victim is the target. They're disgusting. I'd never tell those. But it depends on the joke, not the word or the subject, right? And I think I calmed it down. I said, and they agreed, yeah, some jokes are worse than others, right? And she ended it with saying, well, okay, I see your point, but still, I will laugh at a joke with the word rape in it when I know that no one in the audience has been raped, right? I should have left it. I just sent back, what a weird door policy. It's rubbing salt in the wound, isn't it? You turn up to a comedy gig, you pay your money, then someone says, oh, before you go in, love, can I just ask you a question? Yeah. Have you ever been raped? I have, yes. You can't come in. What? Why? There's a lady in who says she won't laugh if you're in. Come on, off you go, right? But again, that's what the world is like. People take everything personally. I think the world revolves around them, right? Particularly on Twitter, right? I don't know. I'm not tweeting anyone. I'm just tweeting, okay? I don't know who's following me. I've got 12 million followers. I don't know who's following me. They can be following me without me knowing, right? Choose to read my tweet and then take that personally. That's like going into a town square, seeing a big notice board, and there's a notice, guitar lessons, and you go, but I don't fucking want guitar lessons. What's this? There's a number here. All right, call that, right? Are you giving me guitar lessons? Yeah. I don't fucking want any. Fine, it's not for you then. Just walk away. Don't worry about it. I should say one thing in Twitter's defense. I mean, I use it as a marketing tool and for fun like everyone else, right? But one great thing about Twitter, for me personally, I'm very into sort of anti-animal cruelty. And years ago, it would take ages to get 100,000 signatures on a petition standing outside Tesco's or something, right? And that's the magic number, because then it gets heard, in Parliament. And I've been part of many campaigns through Twitter that we've got 100,000 signatures in days, maybe, and the law's been changed. So thank you to anyone who's ever retweeted anything to do with animal cruelty, because it really makes a difference. So thank you. But even something as like clear and distinct as animal cruelty, right? You think no one's going to argue with that, are they? Yes, they will, right? They just want to be heard, right? I'll tweet something about a bull being tortured in a bull ring, right, for entertainment, and I say ban bullfighting. Someone always says, "What about the kids in Syria?" What? Well, I'm not giving you a choice. I'm not... you can do both. I'm not saying throw that kid back in the hole, there's a bull here, right? You can... And there's one thing that I didn't want in my head, but it exists, so we got to deal with it now, that I found out through Twitter. There's a thing called the Yulin Dog Meat Festival in China every year, and it's horrendous. And we send people with money to buy the dogs to bring them back, but it's a drop in the ocean. They eat tens of thousands over this weekend, and I tweet the details why it's so horrendous in a petition. People don't really read it. It's a knee-jerk. People say, racist. I go, what? They go, well, we eat pigs and cows in the West. Yeah, we do. I don't, but yeah, I used to, right? Sure. And you're right, yeah. A pig is worth as much as a dog. A cow is worth as much as a dog. It's not about the species. It's what they do to these poor dogs. And what they do is they torture the dogs first, because they think it makes the meat taste better. They beat them. They blowtorch them. They even skin them alive. And I saw this picture on Twitter of this opening of this ceremony. These two guys in this Chinese square, and they're skinning this dog alive, and it's screaming, and they're laughing. I thought, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. Can I tweet that? I thought, yeah, I've got to. So I tweeted the picture with a petition, and I just said, one beautiful creature and two ugly cunts skinning it alive, right? And it took off, loads of retweets, and it made the press. I got one tweet back from a woman that said, is that language necessary? I should have left it, right? But I was incensed. I said, you're more offended by a word than by an animal being tortured to death. She said, I just hate the C word. I definitely should have left it. I sent back, people who hate the C word would hear it a lot less if they didn't go around acting like such cunts. Thank you. Good night. You've been fantastic. Good night. Cheers, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope no one was offended. No, I really do, because that's never the point. I've always wanted people to know They can laugh at bad things without being bad people. And I think it's my upbringing. Let's say I grew up in poverty with nothing, right? But the point was to pay your way, then have a laugh. That was the men. The women carried on working, obviously. But it was my older brother, Bob, who was about 11 years older than me, and it was him who I first saw making these dark jokes right in the bad situation. While the bad things were happening, he was making jokes about it, and people were laughing, and I realised, oh, he's healing them. That's what comedy's for. That's what humour's for. It gets us over bad stuff, right? Typical Bob story. He once spent an hour in the pound shop in Hayling Island just asking the cashier how much everything was. Just to see if he could break this poor man's will. Right? And Bob was the first person I saw answer back to authority, and the first authority you come across are your parents, right? And he'd have an argument, he'd get in trouble, he'd get sent to bed, right? But I thought, no, he won the argument though, right? And he teased my mum, and so my mum was a typical working class woman, I think, in that, as I say, we lived in a shitty area, right? And most of the houses had like a bit of mud and a stolen bike and fence posts missing. She mended the fence, she turfed the garden herself, she painted the step, because she thought if it looked respectable, we'd be respectable. So it was about reputation, I guess. And so Bob would send her postcards that just read, "Is that paedophile postman still reading your mail?" And she'd take it and she'd go in and she'd be horrified and she'd call Bob and go, "Bob, he saw it this time, you've got to stop doing that." Even at her funeral, my mum died first, and my dad carried on for a year or so, just drinking beer in the garden, and he went, right? But for my mum's funeral, we sort of split up into different duties. I went and did sort of catering and flowers, and Bob went to see the local vicar. That was a mistake, right? We'd never been to church. He didn't know us. We didn't know him. So he just said to Bob, "Tell me about your mum so I can say a few words." And Bob saw that as an opportunity, right? So Bob, with a straight face, said to him, "Well, she was a keen racist." And the vicar went, "Oh, I can't say that." Bob went, "Okay, but she liked gardening," right? And he was trying to get something past the vicar, so the vicar would say something and make us laugh in church. He didn't warn us, right? And he did get something by the vicar. So we're called Ricky, Robert, Bob, Ricky, Robert, Marsha, and Larry. Now, Larry is the oldest. He's in his 70s, born in the war, right? I've always thought he was the sensible one, okay? I suppose firstborn, weight of the world on his shoulders. In fact, my mum told me that when he was a teenager, he got a job and he gave her the money to bring up the rest of us, to help out, right? So he's a stand-up guy, Larry, right? So Bob gives the vicar the wrong name. Didn't warn us. We're all in church, right? Start of the funeral, we're all there, right? Packed out, right? The coffin comes down, guided by the vicar, the coffin gets out. The vicar goes to his pulpit, all confident with his little notes, right? And he goes, "Eva leaves behind 4 loving children, Ricky, Robert, Marsha, and Barry." And we snort like that, right? Bob sort of goes, looks around. Everyone realised what's that. We were all fucking laughing. We see Larry go, right? And the church is like, every time we thought of it, we'd see Larry go, right? And then it would just start giggling, just fits and fucking giggles, right? And then Larry eventually sort of started doing this, right? And the vicar's thinking, what have I said, right? And he put in a few little things that the vicar would know about that he said would set us off again, just things that were just lies or just slightly wrong. And my niece and nephew started crying, and I'd come prepared, right, with a little packet of those tissues. I was giving them those, and they were taking one and handing it on. But before the funeral, I'd taken all the tissues out, written on them, carefully folded them back and put them in. So they were pulling out a tissue and it said, "Snivelling fucking bitch," right? And they're sort of laughing, right? So it was like a madhouse, right? Everything the vicar said or did, we all started just fucking laughing, right? And you could see the vicar was visibly sort of shook a little bit, right? And he ended the funeral and he made a beeline over for me and Bob, right? And he came and said, "Sorry, was that okay?" And me and Bob went, it was fucking brilliant, mate. It was fucking brilliant, mate. And that's what I'm talking about. My last show, Supernature, dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? Big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can. You can. I did. Yeah. The inevitable backlash, which made it the most watched special of the year. So, I've learnt my lesson. No, I have learnt my lesson, and that's why I'm going to be woke from now on. It's about time. Well, I'm sorry. Well, I am woke, and now I'm woke. The first thing I've got to do is change my Twitter bio. Because at the moment, it's like a list of the shows I've created. But now I'm fascist. So people know I'm not a fascist. Because that is a big problem at the moment. People come up to me on the street and they go, Rick, have you been imprisoning journalists? I go, no. They go, oh, interesting. They go, have you been gassing Jews? I go, no. They go, well, pop it in your bio then, you silly cunt. So, yeah, I'm not a fascist. It's an odd thing to just declare, isn't it, that you're not a fascist? We assume, don't we? You wouldn't go up to someone on the street and do that, would you? And go, so, oh, by the way, I'm not a fascist. You know, it's like they protest too much. It's like going into a school and going, I'm not a pedo, so just forget I even mentioned it. So these kids are safe running around me. They can run around naked for all I care. I'm not a pedo, so... Of course, the word changed. Traditionally, the word fascist meant a member of a far-right authoritarian regime that uses militarism and violence to suppress individual rights. Now, the word fascist can mean liked a Joe Rogan tweet. So, words change, yeah? And that's part of the reason I'm going to become woke, is words change, and I don't want to be left behind, you know? I don't want to end up like my granddad in the 70s. Oh, he was all like, coloureds this and queers that. Oh. Although the word queer is all right again now. So if you wait long enough, it just goes full circle. Just be patient is my... So yeah, you can use the word queer. You still can't use it as a noun, only as an adjective. You can't go up to someone and go, you're a queer, but you can go, hear about Darren? He's queer now. If Darren is definitely bent, you can't go around just slagging off Darren willy-nilly. Do you know what I mean? You can get sued in this country for saying someone's gay if they're not, you know, which is a homophobic law, because you can't be sued the other way around. You can't be sued for saying someone's not gay if they are, which seems unfair, doesn't it? Like, I could go up to Britain's biggest gay and go, all right, Alton, all right, and... he'd love that. He'd fucking love that. If that's your game, you want to be top of the pile, so to speak. Right? I'd go, all right, Alton. He'd go, yeah. I'd go, ha, 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 ha. You're not a gay. He'd go, I bloody am. He'd go, I'm going to sue you. I go, you can't. You can't. He'd go, but know that I am gay. I go, I don't believe you are. He'd go, well, come on with me and see the shit I do if you don't believe me. The word queer has changed. Again, traditionally, the word queer used to mean someone who was attracted to the same sex as themselves, a gay man. Now, the word queer can mean a straight man who wants some attention. I'm all queer now. Are you? Yeah, I'm right queer now. I am. Are you? Yeah. What about your girlfriend? Yeah, she's queer and all. We're just two queers queering each other up. Suck a cock? Nah. No, didn't think so. I'm not that sort of queer. Oh, what sort of a queer are you? Dyed my hair blue. So did my grandmother, and she fucking loved cock, so... what are we saying? I have no evidence for that. We never... is my point. Like the word handicapped. right? Again, traditionally, that was the politically correct term, the all-inclusive term for cripples and shit, right? But then they went, no, we want to be disabled. They didn't want to be disabled. They said, well, we want to be referred to as disabled. We don't like the term handicapped anymore. Stop using it. Say disabled. And we went, okay, fine. And that's great. Just tell me the rules. In fact, I'm a stickler for the rules. Like, if I was on a beach and a woman came running up and went, help, help, my handicapped toddler's drowning, I'd go, sorry, you're what, love? What? My handicapped toddler's drowning and he can't swim. Whoa. Do you mean your disabled toddler is drowning? She'd go, yeah. I go, right. Well, it's... Oh, dead. Wasted too much time being woke, didn't I? Well, Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Oh. Thank you. Okay. Okay, shush. Thank you. Honestly, I'm overwhelmed, but shush. Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome to the show. It's great to be back with a brand new special. My last special only dropped on Netflix the Christmas before last. And in that special, I talked about the previous special going to #1 because of all the complaints. And the silly cunts did it again. It's ban it from the #1 everywhere. My name trended for 3 days that Christmas. I wasn't the only comedian who trended that Christmas. Do you know the comedian Rosie Jones? She's got cerebral palsy, and she was on a TV quiz show, and the trolls came out on Twitter going, she's not funny. People saying, you're only saying that because she's disabled. You're only defending her because she's disabled. Sort of back and forth, right? But that wasn't her biggest controversy of the year. This is a true story. Earlier that year, Rosie Jones made a documentary for Channel 4 about her condition, her plight, some of the trolling she gets, some of the insults she gets called, right? And she provocatively called the documentary, Am I a Retard? Yeah, great. Power to her, right? Now, the people who complained were disability campaigners. They had to go at her. They went, you can't use that word. She went, what? Why? I said, because you're physically disabled. That's a derogatory term for people with mental disabilities. If you want to use a derogatory term, you should use one that describes your particular condition. So basically, Rosie Jones said, am I a retard? And disability campaigners said, no, you're a spastic. That's harsh, isn't it? It's context. She was using it to empower people. She was called that. She didn't go, no, that's not me. She sort of embraced it and, reclaimed the word. So disability campaigners are saying, no, you've got to be very specific, right? Only people who are actually retarded can use the word retard, right? But who's going to tell them? You know what I mean? You're not going to go into a room and there's Bubba sort of lying on the floor, crying, right? And you go, all right, Bubba. He goes, yeah. Oh, no. No, don't. It's a tightrope. He goes, yeah. You go, you can say retard. Why? Think, you thick cunt. Just think. Anyway, I think she should be allowed to use the word in context. If she can't use the word, then I've used the word now, so I'm in trouble again. Actually, I didn't use the word, did I? This is a point I want to make. People say, oh, he used the word so-and-so. I didn't use the word. Using the word amongst adults. And if there's one thing we should all agree on, whatever side of the political fence you're on, we should all agree that free speech is still a really good thing. It always has been. And it always will be. But now there's factions of people go, oh no, we got it, we don't like it, we've changed our mind, it wasn't going well for us, we don't like free speech anymore. People who want free speech, they only want free speech so they can go around saying awful things, which just isn't true. And even if it was, the good thing about free speech is people can say awful things back. It's a really good system, right? And you can't say anything under the laws of free speech. That's a total misconception. There are loads of caveats to free speech, all of which I agree with, actually. You can't incite violence, good rule. You can't slander people, good rule. You can't libel people, Fascinating fact about libel law. You can't libel the dead. so I could stand here and say, Gandhi used to take it up the arse. If I wanted. Which I do. But free speech is the most important human. We can't help that. That's in our evolution. That's groups elected from when gossip used to control the tribes, right? And there's still two ways you can raise your status in society. One, be competent at something. Like, oh, he's a good hunter. Go with him. He's good for the tribe. The other way you can raise your status is have virtue. Like, oh, he's not a great hunter, but he's wise or kind or whatever, you know. And then, with the advent of social media, people suddenly discovered they could just say they were virtuous. No evidence, no proof, just loads of flags in their bio, right? And they would raise their status by bringing other people down, catching other people out. Oh, look what he said. Oh, he's not as virtuous as me. Look how good I am. Look how bad. And that's where the term virtue signalling comes from, right? And I hate it when they bring their kids into it. You can believe what you want, have opinions what you want, vote how you want, but go on a march, great. But when I see a 5-year-old holding a placard, he doesn't know what that says. That's the adult, you know. Like I saw someone tweet this once. Someone tweeted, my 4-year-old just looked up at me and said, Mummy, why does Rishi Sunak hate poor people? Never fucking happened, right? The morality of the age. You're what you're like because of where you are and when you are. Like, it's not brave of me to be an atheist in this country, in this year. It would have been brave 200 years ago, or mental, right? And it would be brave in some other countries, or mental, right? But people say things like, oh, I'm anti-racist. Yeah, well done. We all are. We know that's the way to be now, but it wouldn't have always been. Well, if you'd have been born in a different place or time, maybe you wouldn't. They go, no, I'd been anti-racist whenever I was born. Well, people say things like, they go, oh yeah, I'd have definitely hidden Anne Frank. Would you? Would you? Anne Frank comes to your door in the war, right? You open it, right? There's Nazis everywhere, right? She goes, can I hide in here? You go, what up? Just face-palmed Anne Frank, like that. Whoa, wait. What happens if they find you? They murder me and you. Go next door. They've got a lovely big attic, they've got a typewriter, you're going to... over there. But I'm anti-racist, of course I am. But I'm willing to admit that if I'd have been born 300 years ago and I was white and wealthy, my point is, morality evolves. It moves with the times like everything else. Just think of that. In a few generations, we've gone from owning slaves, being legal and respectable in the eyes of God, to a racist being the lowest of the low, isn't he? A racist is the worst person in society these days. Actually, a paedophile is the worst. Goes paedophile, then racist. A racist paedophile is the worst If I met a racist paedophile, I'd go, fuck the little black ones too, you bigot. You know? That's fine. They won't cancel me for that. That's what I would. Because we're there for punishment, and that's a little treat. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'd be there, right, feeling a bit smug, right, and I'm thinking, oh, this is great. Not great, but, you know, I'd be... But the devil's a trickster, isn't he? One day I'd go, I wonder whose cock this is. And I look up, oh, it's fucking Hitler. I'm fucking sucking Hitler's cock. How is this all right to do this in public? Because... if I followed one of you home tonight and I shouted through your letterbox, sucking fucking Hitler's cock in hell, you'd call the police. But you've paid to hear me say this shit. Fuck you that. I'll tell you what's very popular in England at the moment, and in America particularly. But even though I don't have children of my own, people still show me photographs of theirs, like I give a shit. I don't mean my own family, they've given up, right? I've got older brothers and sisters, they've all had loads of kids, their kids have had loads of kids, and their kids are having kids. It's like a pyramid, there's about 50 of them. I don't know all their names, I see them at Christmas. They come running over, Uncle Ricky! They know I've got a bit of cash. And they go through my pockets and fuck off. It's like being mugged by mice, right? No, I don't mean now, I mean strangers, right? So I can be busy, I can be working, I can be on the set of a TV show or film or something. I can be stressed, I can be producing it or directing it. And you get someone who comes in for one day, like has got one line or a stunt man. They come over, they introduce themselves, and I go, oh yeah, good to have you, I'll be with you in a minute. Then they hover, right? And they say, busy? I go, yeah, yes, yeah. They go, oh, you working the weekend? Not filming, but I'll be in the edit or something. So yeah, they go, oh, taking my youngest to ballet lessons. Oh, great, great. Yeah, she's 8. No. I got a photograph of her here. I want to go, oh, you know what? Show me if she goes missing. I'll keep an eye open in the woods. You know what I mean? But you've got to go through the whole polite rigmarole. You've got to go, oh, she's beautiful. Yeah. It's got to be that long. Too short and it's awkward. They know. You go, yeah, right. Oh. Too long and it's like, oh. She's fucking beautiful. It's a minefield, isn't it? So... I'm not out of touch, but I am spoiled. And there's a difference. I'm not out of touch. I didn't have any money till I was 40. I've got the same family and friends, same values. But I am spoiled. Because opportunity and privilege spoils you. And it doesn't take much, right? I'll give you an example. Right, first time I started making it in America, the next time we flew, we were met at the plane by a bloke in a suit and a thing, and he just walked us past the queue like that and straight out the other side. Right? And the first time it happens, you're sort of horrified. You're going, oh my God, everyone's looking at me and pretending to be late. Oh God, a baseball cap. Oh God. Next time we flew, I went, where's that bloke who walks us through? I'm not fucking queuing. Right? It's quick, right? And whenever I fly to the States, I've got a place there, but I'm always working, right? So someone else is paying, right? So I go first class, BA. Oh, it doesn't get any better. Even if I was paying my own way, I'd still go first class, but Jane would probably be in coach. Right? It's 10 grand a pop. She's, yeah, that new Planet of the Apes movies on, she'd love that. She'd be happy, right? But when someone else is paying, I say, Jane, get up here with me, right? Front 2 seats. Oh, they board us early. We're on the plane about 15 minutes before anyone else. It's, oh my God. They bring around these snacks, these like warmed, caramelized nuts in a bowl, right? Champagne. It's great. It's like a little day off for me. No phone or anything. It's like a little holiday flying to the States, right? I could do without the safety video. That's always a bit of a downer, right? And totally pointless. If you go into the side of a mountain at 500 miles an hour, the brace position does fuck all. Imagine if that worked, right? You're going down, right? The flames smash, you go, I'll try it, right? You do that, ball of flames, you wake up, everyone's dead, except you go, fucking hell, that's amazing. That is... And they always use that voice, don't they, on the safety. They always use that voice, that calming, hypnotic voice. Like, nothing bad will happen. They're saying horrendous things, but they're trying to make you think, nothing bad will happen, because I'm using this voice, so don't worry about it, right? They say things like, in the event of the plane landing on water, it smashes the fuck to bits, right? Well, they don't say that. They say, in the event of the plane landing on water, your life jacket is equipped with a whistle. A fucking whistle. So the plane hits the water, smashes to bits. Everyone's dead except you by a miracle. You're bobbing around in the Atlantic Ocean, 4 degrees that water is, right? You've got about 15 minutes before hypothermia sets in, right? Or eaten by a shark, or you drown, and you're hoping they've dispatched air sea rescue, and you're going, oh my God, I'm bruised and broken. I'm going to die. I don't want to die. What happened now? I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on. I mean, air sea rescue. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a helicopter. Of course you haven't, right? But they're fucking loud, right? It's like having your head in a washing machine. You have to wear earplugs and then ear defenders. Your teeth rattle. It's like that. So you're over the Atlantic Ocean at night. You go. Never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. If you crash, you die, right? But apart from that, it's brilliant. Right, so I was flying Heathrow to JFK just before Christmas, right? Boarded us early on the plane. She comes round, oh, champagne in a wine glass, like you like it, Miss Gervais. I go, thank you. She goes off, I go, excuse me, got any of them warm nuts? Huh? She went, oh, we're not handing out nuts on this flight. There's a lady getting on who's so allergic that even someone else eating nuts in the vicinity would cause her to have a fatal reaction. I went, oh my God. She went, yeah. I said, oh, of course, yeah. I was fuming. I mean, what's that got to do with me? Why can't I eat nuts just because fucking this woman will die, right? Nuts. I mean, how has she lived this long? If walking by a nut kills you, if being just near a nut, how has she never been near a nut before? And how has she lived long enough, having never been near a nut, how has she lived long enough to earn enough money to be near me on a plane, right? Honestly, it's... And if being near a nut kills you, do we really want that in the gene pool? I mean... I've never wanted nuts more. I felt that she was infringing on my human right to eat nuts, right? And this is how spoiled I am, okay? I actually had this thought. I thought, oh, no, I wish I'd bought my own nuts on, right? And I thought for about a second. I thought, oh, no, that wouldn't work, because she'd get on, right? She'd start going, oh, blowing up like a frog, right? And die, right? And then someone would go, Ricky Gervais bought his own nuts on. Right? So, of course, I don't take my own nuts on. What I do now, before I fly, I have a shower, and then I rub myself all over in nuts, just in case. Because then they go, oh, can I have any nuts? I go, oh, no, not nuts. A lady getting on, so allergic, she'd die. I go, yeah, not a problem, right? Lady gets on, sits down, starts blowing up like a frog. Right? I'm going, what's the matter? I'm touching her all over. I go, what's the matter? What's the matter, love? And she goes, oh, nuts, right? And dies, and I go, who's been eating nuts? I get off scot-free. So I got to America, I went on a chat show, right? The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, right? And I told that story, the whole thing, right? And went well, audience laughed, great. Went out.